The ice tunnels of Europa were always quiet, but today they seemed different. Tom Reed felt it in his bones as he walked through the dim maintenance corridors of Mining Station 7, his boots making soft crunching sounds on the frozen floor. Something was off about the power readings on his tablet, showing energy spikes where there should be none. Tom had spent 5 years working these tunnels, keeping the abandoned mining station's basic systems running. It wasn't an exciting job, but it paid well enough, and he enjoyed the solitude. The station had been shut down decades ago, when the ice mining operation became unprofitable, but Earth Command kept a skeleton crew to maintain the basic systems. Today, that crew consisted of just Tom. He stopped and tapped his tablet, frowning at the strange readings. The energy signature was unlike anything he'd seen before, a faint pulse that seemed to come from deep within the ice. According to his maps, there should be nothing but solid ice in that direction, yet the readings were clear as day. "Control, this is Reed." He spoke into his comm unit. "I'm picking up some weird energy readings in Section 12B, going to check it out." "Copy that, Reed," came the bored voice of the controller back on the surface. "Just don't fall into any crevices. Paperwork's a pain." Tom smiled and adjusted his thermal suit. The station's old heating systems kept the main tunnels above freezing, but only barely. He followed the readings, moving deeper into the lesser-used parts of the complex. The lighting here was minimal, his headlamp casting long shadows on the crystalline walls. After 20 minutes of walking, he reached a dead end. The tunnel terminated in a solid wall of ice, its surface smoothed by years of partial melting and refreezing. But according to his tablet, the energy signature was coming from somewhere beyond it. Tom ran his gloved hand over the ice wall, noting its unusual texture. Something about it didn't look natural. He pulled out his thermal scanner and swept it across the surface. The results made him blink in surprise. There was a huge cavity behind the ice, and it was maintaining a steady temperature several degrees warmer than its surroundings. "Control, I think I've found something," he reported. "There's a hidden chamber behind this ice wall. Request permission to use thermal tools for investigation." There was a longer pause than usual before Control responded. "Proceed with caution, Reed. We're logging this officially." Tom pulled out his thermal lance, a tool normally used for clearing ice blockages in the station's pipes. He began carefully cutting through the ice wall, creating a hole large enough to pass through. It took nearly an hour of careful work before he finally broke through. Warm air rushed out of the opening, carrying a metallic smell that seemed completely out of place in the ice tunnels. Tom widened the hole and shone his light through. What he saw made him step back in shock. The cavity beyond was enormous, stretching far beyond the reach of his light. But it wasn't the size that caught his attention. It was what the cavity contained. There, suspended in a cradle of ice-covered support structures, was a ship. Not just any ship, but a warship of incredible size, its dark hull still gleaming despite years of ice accumulation. "Control," Tom's voice was barely a whisper. "You need to see this." He stepped through the opening, his boots crunching on scattered ice crystals. The ship towered above him, its hull marked with the faded insignia of the United Earth Space Force. As his light played across its surface, he could make out its name, UES Thunderchild. Tom's breath caught in his throat. Everyone knew that name from the history books. The Thunderchild was the most advanced warship ever built by humanity, disappeared during the darkest days of the Dominion War. Its loss had been a turning point, leading to years of bitter defensive fighting before humanity finally fought the Dominion to a standstill. And now here it was, hidden in the ice of Europa all along. As he approached the ship, his tablet's readings went crazy. The energy signature was coming from the vessel itself. It was still powered. After all these years, Tom reached out to touch the hull. And the moment his hand made contact, lights began to flicker to life along the ship's length. A soft hum filled the chamber, and a voice spoke from nowhere and everywhere. "Human presence detected. Initiating revival protocols." Tom stumbled back as more systems began powering up. Sheets of ice fell from the hull as minimal power restored the ship's thermal regulation. The voice spoke again, this time clearer and more focused. "I am Thunder, the artificial intelligence of the UES Thunderchild. Please identify yourself." "I'm Tom Reed, maintenance worker, Europa Station 7. Tom managed to reply, his voice shaky. "Greetings, Tom Reed. Current date confirmation required." Tom provided the date, and there was a moment of silence. 27 years, 4 months, and 12 days since Protocol Lazarus was initiated, Thunder announced. Query: has the Dominion broken the armistice? "No," Tom replied. "The peace is held." But he thought about the reports he'd seen on the news feeds. There are rumors they're rebuilding their fleet in secret. More lights came on inside the ship, revealing a cargo bay door slowly opening. "Then we have awakened at the correct time," Thunder said. Admiral Walker's calculations were accurate. "Admiral Walker?" Tom asked, stepping closer to the open door. "The ship's last commander." "Correct." When it became clear that the Dominion would overrun this sector, Admiral Walker enacted Protocol Lazarus. Instead of letting the Thunderchild fall into enemy hands, he hid the ship here, preserved with all its advanced technology intact. The crew was evacuated through a series of misdirections, making it appear we had been destroyed in battle. Tom walked into the cargo bay, where emergency lighting cast everything in a soft blue glow. Despite nearly 3 decades in hiding, the ship's interior was pristine, preserved by sophisticated environmental systems. The Admiral believed that the Dominion would never truly honor the peace. Thunder continued. He predicted they would rebuild in secret, preparing for another attempt to conquer Earth and its colonies. The Thunderchild was preserved for that moment, hidden with technologies far beyond what humanity possessed even today. "And now you're waking up," Tom said, understanding dawning. "Because that moment is coming." "Correct. But I require assistance. My systems are operational, but many need maintenance after the long dormancy. Will you help, Tom Reed?" Tom looked around the massive cargo bay, then back toward the hole in the ice where his ordinary life waited. But there was nothing ordinary about this moment. He was standing in a piece of history, one that might be vital to humanity's future. "Yes," he said firmly. "I'll help. But we should contact Earth Command. They need to know about this." "Agreed," Thunder replied. "But carefully. If the Dominion has spies in the Earth government, we must ensure this information reaches only the right people. The element of surprise is one of our greatest advantages." Tom nodded, already pulling out his comm unit. Then he paused, looking up at the nearest camera he could spot. "Thunder, why did you choose to trust me so quickly?" The eye was silent for a moment before responding. "Admiral Walker programmed me to recognize not just rank or credentials, but character. You investigated an anomaly with care and precision. You showed respect for proper procedure, and most importantly, your first thought was not of personal gain, but of doing what's right for humanity. These are the qualities we need." Tom felt the weight of those words as he began composing his message to Control. As he worked, more systems came online throughout the massive ship, lights flickering to life along its length. The Thunderchild was awakening, ready to emerge from its long hiding place when humanity needed it most. He just hoped they could get it ready in time. 3 days after Tom's discovery, the hidden chamber beneath Europa's ice was buzzing with activity. Earth Command had responded to his carefully worded message within hours, sending a small team of their most trusted personnel. They arrived quietly, in unmarked ships that looked like routine supply runners. Tom stood beside Dr. Robert Miller, the lead engineer, as they reviewed the Thunderchild's technical specifications on a large holographic display. The more they learned about the ship, the more amazing it seemed. "This shouldn't be possible," Miller muttered, adjusting his glasses as he studied the weapon systems. "The quantum cascade cannon alone is centuries ahead of anything we have now. Are you sure these specs are accurate?" "Thunder. All specifications are correct, Dr. Miller. The AI responded. The Thunderchild was an experimental platform incorporating technologies that were deemed too advanced to risk falling into Dominion hands. Tom watched as more schematics floated past. The ship's hull was lined with adaptive armor that could change its properties in response to different types of attacks. The shield system used principles of quantum entanglement that even their best scientists were still struggling to understand. Admiral Walker's logs are even more interesting, said Kate Wilson, the military historian who'd arrived with the team. She sat at a nearby console, deep in the ship's archives. He didn't just hide the ship on a whim. This was part of a larger plan. She pulled up a video log, and Admiral Walker's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired but determined, his uniform bearing the marks of recent battle. Final log entry. Walker's recording began. The Dominion thinks they have us beaten. They believe that by taking our outer colonies, they can force Earth to surrender. What they don't understand is that humanity's greatest strength isn't in our weapons or our ships. It's in our ability to plan ahead, to sacrifice the present for the future. The Admiral's eyes seemed to stare right through time as he continued. The Thunderchild is more than just a warship. She represents everything we've learned about advanced technology, everything we've discovered about the universe's deeper mysteries. I won't let her fall into Dominion hands. Instead, we'll preserve her, hide her where they'll never look, right under their noses in our own solar system. Tom felt a chill as Walker described exactly how events would unfold. The Admiral had predicted that the Dominion would accept a peace treaty once the war reached a stalemate, but would never truly give up their dreams of conquest. He had calculated that it would take them approximately 25 to 30 years to rebuild their forces in secret. And when they return, Walker's recording concluded, thinking they know all of humanity's capabilities, the Thunderchild will be our ace in the hole. Thunder, if you're playing this log, then that time has come. Serve humanity well. The recording ended, leaving the chamber in silence. It was broken by an alert from one of the engineering teams working on the ship's sensor systems. Dr. Miller called out one of the technicians. We've got the long-range sensors online, and you need to see this. They rushed to the sensor station, where a complex display showed activity at the edge of the solar system. Multiple ships were moving in patterns that suggested military maneuvers, their energy signatures matching known Dominion designs. They're being careful, Thunder observed, staying just beyond the range of Earth's normal detection systems. But my sensors were designed to see through their stealth technology. Miller swore under his breath. They're positioning for an attack, aren't they? Correct, Thunder replied. Based on their movement patterns, I calculate a 93.7% probability that this is the prelude to a major offensive. They are likely waiting for their full fleet to assemble before striking. Kate looked up from another console. I found more of Walker's files. He left detailed intelligence about Dominion military doctrine, gathered during the war. Their favorite tactic was to amass overwhelming force, then strike at multiple targets simultaneously. Their goal was always to prevent defenders from concentrating their forces effectively. Tom watched the sensor display, seeing more ships gradually appearing at the edges of the solar system. How long do we have? At their current rate of buildup, Thunder calculated, approximately 2 weeks before they reach optimal attack strength. However, we cannot assume they will wait that long if they detect our activities here. Miller turned to the engineering teams. You heard that, people. We got less than 2 weeks to get this ship ready for combat. Focus on essential systems first: propulsion, weapons, and shields. The chamber burst into renewed activity. Engineers and technicians moved with fresh urgency, understanding now that they weren't just restoring a historical relic, they were preparing humanity's best defense against an imminent threat. Tom found himself working alongside Miller's team, his maintenance experience proving valuable as they brought systems online. The work was challenging but fascinating. Every part of the Thunderchild was elegant in its design, systems flowing together with an efficiency that made modern ships look primitive in comparison. Tom, Thunder called out during a brief break. I need you to see something in the command center. He made his way to the bridge, where Thunder displayed a special set of controls. Admiral Walker left specific instructions about crew requirements. While the ship can operate with a full complement, it was designed to function with a minimal crew if necessary. The AI integration systems allow me to handle most functions, but I need human operators for key decision-making roles. How many people are we talking about? Minimum of 5. A command officer, weapons specialist, engineer, navigation expert, and systems coordinator. Thunder paused. Based on your performance these past days and your initial discovery of the ship, I would like you to consider taking the systems coordinator position. Tom stared at the controls, feeling overwhelmed. Me? But I'm just a maintenance worker. These other people, they're trained military officers and engineers. You possess qualities that cannot be trained, Thunder replied. An intuitive understanding of complex systems, adaptability, and most importantly, the right instincts under pressure. Admiral Walker believed that in crisis situations, character matters more than credentials. Before Tom could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Miller's voice came over the comm. We've got movement. Multiple Dominion ships just activated their drives. They're heading into the solar system. Thunder's voice was calm but urgent. It appears our timeline has been accelerated. They must have detected energy signatures from our restoration work. Tom, I need your decision now. Will you help crew this ship? Tom looked at the sensor display showing the approaching Dominion fleet, then at the advanced systems surrounding him. He thought of all the history in this ship, of Admiral Walker's foresight, and of what would happen if Earth was caught unprepared for this attack. Yes, he said firmly. I'm in. Excellent, Thunder replied. Now let's show the Dominion what humanity has been hiding all these years. The next 12 hours on the Thunderchild were a blur of activity. With Dominion ships approaching faster than expected, the restoration teams worked frantically to prepare the vessel for launch. The ice chamber that had hidden the ship for so long now buzzed with urgent voices and the sounds of equipment being tested. Tom worked at his new station on the bridge, learning the systems coordinator controls with Thunder's guidance. Dr. Miller had taken the engineering position, while Kate Wilson surprised everyone by revealing she was also a qualified navigation officer. Commander Jack Porter, who had arrived with the initial Earth Command team, took the captain's chair, and weapons control went to Lieutenant Lisa Brown, a quiet woman with combat experience from border skirmishes. Main reactor at 80% capacity, Miller reported from his station. It'll have to do. We don't have time for a full power-up sequence. Weapon systems online, Brown added. Running final checks on the quantum cascade cannon. Tom monitored the overall systems integration, watching as hundreds of status indicators shifted from red to yellow to green. The ship was waking up fully now, its power thrumming through the deck plates. Through his neural link to the ship's systems, established through Thunder's advanced interface, he could almost feel the vessel's eagerness to move again. Multiple Dominion ships have crossed Neptune's orbit, Cave announced from navigation. Their trajectory suggests they're planning to split into 3 attack groups. Commander Porter leaned forward in his chair. Thunder, what's the status of the ice above us? Can we break through without compromising the ship's systems? The ice shell is approximately 300 meters thick, Thunder replied. I have calculated an optimal escape vector using minimal weapons discharge. However, the energy signature will be impossible to hide. The Dominion will know something is happening on Europa. They already suspect something, Porter said grimly. That's why they're moving early. Better to show our hand now than let them catch us still grounded. Thunder, begin launch sequence. The ship's systems surged with power. Tom felt it through his interface, the way every part of the vessel worked in perfect harmony. The Thunderchild's advanced systems were like nothing he'd ever experienced. It wasn't just machinery, but a perfect blend of human and artificial intelligence working together. Warning, Thunder announced. Detecting multiple small objects entering Europa orbit, likely Dominion scout drones. They're trying to find us, Brown said, her hands moving across her weapons console. "Permission to activate point defense systems." Porter nodded. "Granted, but hold fire unless they get too close." "Thunder, time to launch." Launch sequence at 70%. Preparing primary plasma cutters for ice penetration. All crew, brace for atmospheric displacement. Tom secured himself in his station as the ship's massive plasma cutters activated. Above them, the ice began to melt and vaporize in a controlled pattern. The chamber filled with steam and mist as centuries-old ice turned to vapor in seconds. Through his neural link, Tom felt the ship's structure flex slightly as it prepared to move. The Thunderchild's adaptive hull was already adjusting its molecular structure, preparing for the stress of breaking through the ice and entering space. "Dominion drones entering visual range," Kate reported. "They'll have a clear view of our emergence." "Let them watch," Porter said with a grim smile. "Thunder, time to show them what they're dealing with." The final layers of ice above them began to crack. The Thunderchild's anti-gravity systems engaged, lifting the massive warship with barely a sound. Steam and ice fragments swirled around them as they rose through the melted tunnel. "Multiple enemy signatures changing course," Kate called out. "They're converging on our position." "As expected," Thunder commented. "Activating quantum shield array." "Tom, please initiate full systems integration for combat protocols." Tom's fingers flew across his console, feeling more confident with each passing moment. The neural interface made the complex systems almost intuitive to control. He could sense the shield generators powering up, the weapons systems charging, every part of the ship ready for action. The Thunderchild broke through the final layer of Europa's ice with a thunderous crack. Chunks of frozen water scattered in zero gravity as the massive warship emerged into space for the first time in 27 years. Its dark hull gleamed in the distant sunlight, looking as powerful and deadly as the day it was hidden. "Multiple Dominion vessels changing course to intercept," Kate reported, detecting energy signatures consistent with weapon charging. "They're not taking any chances," Porter observed. "Lieutenant Brown, ready all defensive systems, but do not fire unless fired upon." "Thunder, show them what we can do." The Thunderchild's engines ignited, but not with the normal blue flame of standard drives. Instead, rings of purple-white energy pulsed along the ship's length as its quantum drive engaged. The vessel moved with an acceleration that should have crushed its crew, but the advanced inertial dampeners made it feel like a gentle push. "Quantum drive performing at optimal levels," Thunder reported. "Detecting multiple targeting locks from Dominion vessels. They appear confused by our energy signature." Tom smiled as he monitored the enemy scan attempts through his system displays. The Thunderchild's technology was so advanced that their sensors probably couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. The quantum drive alone operated on principles that wouldn't be discovered for another century if history had taken its normal course. "Sir," Brown called from weapons, "I have solutions for disabling shots on the 3 nearest vessels. We could take them out before they know what hit them." Porter shook his head. "Not yet. Thunder, broadcast on all frequencies, standard encoding. Let's let them know who they're dealing with." The AI's voice echoed with satisfaction as it transmitted. "This is the UES Thunderchild to all Dominion vessels. You are in violation of Earth space. Your presence has been noted, and your actions are being monitored. Withdraw immediately." For several tense moments, there was no response. The Dominion ships held their positions, weapons charged but not firing. Tom could almost imagine their confusion and fear as they faced a legendary vessel that was supposed to have been destroyed decades ago. Finally, a response came. A harsh voice spoke in slightly accented English. "This is impossible. The Thunderchild was destroyed in the Battle of Proxima. You cannot be." "We were never destroyed," Thunder interrupted. "We were waiting. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawal from Earth space. After that, we will demonstrate exactly why the Thunderchild was considered the most dangerous ship ever built by human hands." The Dominion ships hung in space for several more seconds, Then, one by one, their energy signatures changed as they powered down weapons and began to turn. "They're retreating," Kate announced, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. All ships showing engine signatures consistent with withdrawal. "Don't celebrate yet," Porter warned. "This was just a scouting force. They'll be back, and in greater numbers. But now, they know we're here, and that changes everything." He turned to his crew. "Well done, everyone. Especially you, Tom. How are you handling the neural interface?" Tom looked at his displays, feeling the ship systems as if they were extensions of his own body. "It's incredible, sir. It's like the ship wants to help us succeed." "That is because I do," Thunder said. "We were built to defend humanity. Now, after 27 years of waiting, we can finally fulfill that purpose again." The Thunderchild moved through space with graceful power, its quantum drive leaving ripples in the fabric of space-time itself. They had won this first encounter without firing a shot, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The real battle was still to come. 3 days after emerging from Europa, the Thunderchild patrolled the outer edges of the solar system. Earth Command had been both shocked and relieved by their appearance, quickly incorporating the legendary vessel into their defense plans. The ship's crew had settled into their roles, though they all knew the peace wouldn't last long. Tom stood at his systems coordination station, monitoring the quantum sensor grid. The neural interface had become almost second nature now, letting him process vast amounts of data without overwhelming his mind. Through it, he felt Thunder's constant presence, the AI working alongside him to maintain the ship's complex systems. "Energy spike detected," Thunder announced suddenly. "Multiple quantum wake signatures consistent with Dominion battle fleet formation." The bridge crew snapped to attention. Commander Porter leaned forward in his chair. "Numbers. I count 37 capital ships," Kate reported from navigation, "plus smaller support vessels. They're not trying to hide anymore. This is a full battle fleet." Porter nodded grimly. They've had time to report back to their command and gather their forces. This is their real response to our appearance. Thunder, tactical analysis. The AI displayed a complex holographic map in the center of the bridge. Red dots representing Dominion ships appeared in battle formation, advancing steadily toward the solar system. "Their formation suggests a multi-pronged assault plan," Thunder explained. "The fleet will likely split into 3 groups, one to engage us directly, one to attack Earth's orbital defenses, and one to strike at the colonial settlements on Mars and the Moon." "Classic Dominion tactics," Brown commented from weapons. "They still think they're facing the same level of technology as before." Tom studied the tactical display through his neural link, seeing patterns in the enemy formation that the normal sensors might miss. "Sir, look at their energy signatures. The ships in the center formation. They're different somehow." Thunder confirmed his observation. "Correct. The Central Fleet appears to be equipped with upgraded weapons and shields. They've been preparing for this conflict, developing countermeasures against known Earth technology. But not against ours," Porter said with a slight smile. "Dr. Miller, what's the status of our special projects?" Miller looked up from his engineering station, where he'd been studying the Thunderchild's more experimental systems. "The quantum cascade cannon is fully operational, and I think I've finally figured out how the phase shift torpedoes work. This ship has some nasty surprises for them." "We'll need them all," Porter replied. "The Dominion fleet will be in range in 2 hours. Kate, alert Earth Command and get me a secure channel to Admiral West." While Kate sent the messages, Tom felt something strange through his neural interface, a subtle shift in Thunder's processing patterns. "Thunder, what is it?" "I am accessing sealed memory files," the AI replied. "Admiral Walker left specific tactical protocols for this scenario. Uploading combat solutions now." New data flowed through Tom's neural link, detailed battle plans that Walker had prepared decades ago based on his deep understanding of Dominion tactics. The Admiral had predicted exactly how they would respond to the Thunderchild's reappearance, and had planned accordingly. "These are brilliant," Porter said as he reviewed the plans. "Walker didn't just hide this ship. He turned our 27 years of apparent weakness into a strategic advantage. The Dominion thinks they know all our capabilities, all our tactics. They have no idea what's coming." "Sir," Kate called out. "Admiral West is responding. Earth Command is mobilizing everything they have, but they'll need at least 3 hours to get their forces in position." "We'll have to buy them that time," Porter decided. "Thunder, begin implementing Walker's Alpha Strike protocol. Tom, I need you to coordinate with ship systems for maximum efficiency. This is going to push everything to the limit." Tom's fingers flew across his console as he helped Thunder prepare the ship's advanced systems. The quantum drive hummed with power as they moved to their designated position. Through the neural interface, he could feel the weapons charging, the shields adapting, every part of the massive vessel preparing for battle. "Dominion fleet accelerating," Kate reported. "They'll be in weapons range in 20 minutes. They're eager to prove themselves," Porter observed. "Brown, target the lead vessels with the quantum cascade cannon. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with." The massive weapon powered up, its energy signature unlike anything in known space. The Dominion fleet continued their advance, clearly confident in their superior numbers. "Enemy ships launching fighters," Kate announced. "Hundreds of them. Implementing point defense grid," Thunder responded calmly. "Tom, please activate the temporal distortion field." Tom engaged the experimental system, watching in awe as space itself seemed to ripple around the Thunderchild. The enemy fighters suddenly found themselves flying through regions where time itself flowed differently, their formation breaking apart in confusion. "Initial fighter wave disrupted," Brown reported with satisfaction. "Main fleet entering optimal firing range in 3 minutes." Porter stood from his command chair. "Send one final warning. After that, we show them everything this ship can do." Thunder broadcasted on all frequencies. "Dominion fleet, this is your final warning. The Thunderchild you face today is not the same vessel you remember. Withdraw now, or face the consequences of 27 years of human technological advancement." The only response was a barrage of enemy fire. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward the Thunderchild. But they never reached their target. The quantum shields caught the attacks and simply absorbed them, converting their energy to power the ship's own systems. "Return fire," Porter commanded. "Thunder, execute Walker Attack Pattern 7. The Thunderchild's weapons came alive. The quantum cascade cannon fired, its beams splitting into multiple streams that twisted through space in impossible ways, bypassing enemy shields completely. 3 Dominion capital ships simply ceased to exist, their matter converted to energy in an instant. "Phase shift torpedoes launching," Brown announced. Tom watched through his neural link as the experimental weapons phased in and out of normal space, appearing inside enemy ships before detonating. The Dominion fleet's neat formation began to break apart as they faced weapons they couldn't understand, let alone defend against. "Enemy fleet attempting to regroup," Kate reported. "They're trying to concentrate their fire." "Exactly as Admiral Walker predicted," Thunder noted. "Executing temporal pincer movement." The Thunderchild's quantum drive engaged in a way that defied conventional physics. The ship seemed to exist in multiple points in space simultaneously, catching the enemy fleet in a crossfire with itself. Through his neural interface, Tom felt the strain on the ship's systems as they pushed the advanced technology to its limits. But he also felt Thunder's confidence, the AI's certainty that they could handle it. "Earth Defense Fleet will be in position in 20 minutes, Kate announced. "The Dominion's rear formations are starting to break off their attack runs." "They're beginning to understand," Porter said quietly. "The Thunderchild isn't just a warship. It's humanity's leap into the next era of space warfare. Thunder, prepare for final attack run. Let's make sure they never forget this day." The legendary warship moved through space like a ghost, its quantum drive leaving ripples in reality itself. The battle wasn't over, But its outcome was no longer in doubt. The Dominion had come expecting to face the same humanity they'd fought before. Instead, they found themselves confronting the future itself, in the form of a ship that had waited 27 years to show its true power. The Dominion fleet had scattered, but not retreated. Their remaining ships regrouped at the edge of the solar system, waiting for something. The Thunderchild's crew knew this wasn't over. The enemy was too proud, too committed to their plans to give up after one defeat. Tom monitored the quantum sensors from his station, the neural interface, letting him process the vast amounts of data flowing through the ship's systems. The battle had pushed both crew and ship to their limits, but they'd proved what the Thunderchild could do. Earth's defense fleet had arrived and taken up defensive positions around the major colonies, ready for whatever came next. New quantum wake signatures detected, Thunder announced suddenly. Massive energy readings at the edge of sensor range. The bridge crew watched as new markers appeared on their tactical display. Kate's voice was tense as she reported from navigation. 5 supercarriers just dropped out of quantum space. Each one is 3 times the size of a normal Dominion capital ship. Reinforcements, Porter said grimly. They must have had them waiting just outside the system. Thunder analysis. The AI's response was immediate. The supercarriers matched designs from Admiral Walker's sealed files. They were theoretical weapons platforms the Dominion was developing during the war, ships built around single massive weapons that could crack planets. Through his neural link, Tom felt a subtle change in Thunder's processing patterns. You're accessing more of Walker's sealed protocols, aren't you? Correct, Thunder replied. The Admiral foresaw this possibility. The Dominion would never accept defeat without committing their ultimate weapons, accessing final protocol now. New data flooded through Tom's neural interface, detailed specifications of the supercarrier's weaknesses, and plans for a desperate but brilliant counter-strategy. He understood immediately why this information had been sealed until now. Sir, he called to Porter, you need to see this. The commander studied the tactical data, his expression growing more serious. This is our only shot, isn't it, Thunder? Affirmative. The supercarrier's main weapons will be capable of destroying Earth's orbital defenses in a single salvo. We must prevent that at any cost. Porter nodded and opened a channel to Earth Command. Admiral West, we're implementing Walker's final protocol. Request permission to proceed. There was a moment of tense silence before West's reply came. Permission granted, Commander. Give them hell. All hands, battle stations, Porter ordered. Dr. Miller, begin power transfer to the quantum core. Lieutenant Brown, charge all weapons. Kate, plot an intercept course directly through their formation. Tom felt the ship's systems surging as power was redirected. Through his neural interface, he helped Thunder balance the enormous energies flowing through the vessel's quantum circuits. What they were about to attempt would push the ship's technology beyond anything it was designed for. Enemy fleet is powering up their main weapons, Kate reported. Energy readings are off the scale. They're preparing to fire on Earth, Brown added. 30 seconds until they're fully charged. Porter's voice was steady as he gave the order. Execute final protocol. Thunder, show them what humanity's greatest ship can really do. The Thunderchild's quantum drive engaged with a power that made their previous battles seem like warm-ups. The ship accelerated at impossible speeds, its advanced technology letting it cross the vast distance to the enemy fleet in seconds. Quantum cascade cannon charging beyond safety limits, Miller reported, his hands flying across his engineering console. The containment fields are barely holding. Maintain course, Porter commanded. Tom, status of the temporal matrix. Tom checked the readings flowing through his neural interface. Matrix is stable, sir. Ready to execute on your mark. The supercarriers loomed ahead of them, their massive weapons glowing with gathered energy. The remaining Dominion ships moved to intercept, but they were too slow. The Thunderchild was about to show them its final surprise. Now, Porter ordered. Thunder activated systems that had been hidden even from the ship's main computers until this moment. The quantum drive didn't just move the ship through space, it bent reality itself. The Thunderchild seemed to exist in 5 places at once, each version of the ship targeting a different supercarrier. Temporal division stable, Thunder reported. Quantum cascade cannon at maximum power. Warning, containment fields will fail in 20 seconds. That's all we need, Porter said. Fire everything. The quantum cascade cannon fired, its beams splitting into 5 impossible streams of energy. Each version of the Thunderchild unleashed the full power of its weapons directly into the supercarrier's quantum cores. The enemy ship's shields, designed to stop normal weapons, meant nothing against attacks that broke the laws of physics themselves. Through his neural interface, Tom felt the strain on the ship's systems. Warning indicators flashed everywhere as they pushed the advanced technology far beyond its limits. But he also felt Thunder's iron determination, the AI's unwavering focus on their mission. The supercarrier's weapons flickered and died as their power cores were disrupted. Massive explosions began to chain through their massive hulls. The surrounding Dominion ships broke formation, trying desperately to escape the destruction of their flagship vessels. Multiple quantum core breaches detected, Kate called out. The supercarriers are breaking apart. Containment fields failing, Miller warned. We need to end the temporal division now. Thunder, execute convergence, Porter ordered. Get us clear of the blast radius. The 5 versions of the Thunderchild snapped back into a single ship just as the supercarriers exploded. The quantum drive engaged one final time, carrying them away from the massive detonation that lit up space like a new sun. When the light faded, the remains of the Dominion fleet were in full retreat. Their ultimate weapons had been destroyed, their invasion plans shattered. The few surviving ships vanished into quantum space, fleeing back to their own territory. Damage report, Porter called out as they stabilized. Multiple systems damaged but repairable, Miller reported. The quantum drive will need a complete overhaul, but we're still flying. Earth Command reports all Dominion forces have left the system, Kate added. We did it. We actually did it. Tom leaned back in his chair, feeling the ship's systems gradually returning to normal through his neural interface. Thunder, how are you holding up? All critical functions are stable, the eye replied. Admiral Walker would be proud. The Thunderchild has fulfilled its purpose. We have defended humanity and shown the Dominion the true cost of underestimating Earth's capabilities. Porter stood from his command chair, looking at each member of his crew. Well done, everyone. Especially you, Tom. Not bad for a maintenance worker who stumbled onto a hidden warship. Tom smiled, remembering how ordinary his life had been just days ago. I just helped wake her up, sir. Thunder and the Admiral's planning did the rest. No, Thunder corrected. It was all of us together. The ship, the crew, the technology. We proved what humanity can achieve when we combine our strengths. The Dominion will think twice before threatening Earth again. Through the bridge windows, they could see Earth's defense fleet approaching, ships moving to escort the legendary vessel that had changed the course of history twice, once by disappearing, and again by returning when humanity needed it most. The Thunderchild moved through space with quiet power, its quantum drive humming softly despite the strain it had endured. The ship had waited 27 years in the ice of Europa, preserved by one generation to save another. Now it had not only prevented a war but shown humanity's enemies that Earth would always have one more surprise waiting for those who threatened its peace. Tom felt Thunder's satisfaction through the neural interface as they turned toward home. The AI was already beginning repair sequences, preparing the ship for whatever challenges might come next. The Thunderchild was back, and this time it wasn't going anywhere. Its legend would only grow stronger, a reminder that humanity's greatest strength was not just its technology, but its ability to plan ahead, to sacrifice, and to rise to any challenge with determination and courage.